Namaskar. I'm Vishwakarki, an English instructor. In my previous class, I talked about if clause, and there I talked about just general rules. Today, we are going to talk about those conditions a little bit different from the general rules. We talked about three structures of if clause last time, but today we are going to talk about some more structures, and these structures are very much important for ASI, cadets, inspector, and other competitive examinations. Of Public Service Commission as well as entrance examinations. So the things that I'm going to talk about today are very much important for ASI, cadets, inspector, and other competitive examinations of Public Service Commission and other entrance examinations. So let us see those examples. If clause part 2. Now, the first thing that you have got to do is if plus simple present on the one hand, the next one would be simple present itself. In my previous class, I did if plus simple present, but next part would be shall, will, may, can, must plus P1. That's the general one. But today we are talking about simple present on the one hand and simple present on the other hand. If plus simple present, if plus simple present. What are the conditions? Let us see with some examples. If you snatch a doll from a baby, the baby weeps. Let us see. If you snatch a doll from a baby, the baby weeps. What's the condition? This is the natural one. Snatching a doll from a baby and the baby weeping. That's natural. If you hit me, it pains. Natural. If you hit me, it pains. You cannot say it will pain. You must say it pains. If you hit me, it pains. So what do these two sentences indicate? These two sentences indicate that if one side is natural, the other side also must be natural. So these are natural activities. This is one condition in which both sides have simple present. Well, let us see the next example. If you boil water, it evaporates. If you boil water, it evaporates. What is it? This is truth. This is, general truth. you know. If he has some money, he always drinks alcoholic drinks. Look at the word always. What does it indicate? It indicates routine. It indicates general habit. When if clause indicates general habit, the first portion also should be simple present, and the second portion also should be simple present. If he has some money, he always drinks alcoholic drinks. He takes alcoholic drinks. So what does it indicate? It indicates habit. So look at the conditions we have done so far. Whenever you would like to show natural activities, if plus simple present, the next side is also simple present. You know, that is natural activities. Whenever you would like to show general truth, if plus simple present, next side is also simple present. Like if you boil water, it evaporates. Next one is habit. If he has some money, he always drinks alcoholic drinks. It's not that he will always drink or he may always drink. No. That's the habit, and it's very difficult to come out of habit. So both sides have got simple present here. Is that clear? Okay, I hope you understand this. Now, let me talk about the next condition of simple present. So the second condition is if plus simple present the next side should be imperative. Now you can think, what are imperative sentences? What do you mean by imperative sentences? The sentences that indicate request, order, advice, or suggestions, command, they are imperative sentences. They generally start with verb. Imperative sentences so order or command or request or advice, etc. And they generally start with V1. Not always, generally. They generally start with a verb. Start with a verb. Well, now let us see the examples of this type. If you marry, invite me. Look, if you marry, this is simple present. Simple present means subject plus V1 or V5. If you marry, this one is simple present. And the next sentence is imperative, invite me. If you are sick, please take rest. Look, this side is simple present. If you are sick, the next one is imperative. And sometimes in this structure, Instead of this simple present if, you can start with should also. Next formula for this is should you plus V1. Next one is imperative. Should you have any problem, please consult me. It means if you have. Look. Should you have any problem, please consult me. So what do you mean by should you have? Should you have means if you have. So this structure can be, according to conditions, replaced by should you. You know, should you marry, invite me means if you marry, invite me. Should you have any problem means if you have any problem. So this is the thing. Now next condition of simple present in the if clause. Let us see. The third condition is if plus simple present, the next side can be any future indicators. The tense can be present, but the sense must be future. Any future indicators, you know, not necessarily will, shall and all. The future can be realized or understood by various other sentence structures, and that's what we are going to do. Now if plus simple present, the next side would be future indicators. What do you mean by future indicators? You know, let us see. If you insult him, I'm going to beat you. It's for sure. If you insult him, I'm going to beat you. It's for sure. You know, certain. So look, the tense is present, but the sense is future here. If you insult him, this is simple present. Fine? Simple present. But the next side, I'm going to beat you. Here, the tense is present, but the sense is future. So, I'm going to beat you. What is it? Tense present. But sense is future. So, tense is present, sense is future. So, this is future indicator. Let me give you another example. If people do not follow the rules of physical distancing, many people are likely to be infected by COVID-19. Now look, if people do not follow the rules of physical distancing, you know, many people are likely to be infected by COVID-19. So here, are likely to, you know, are likely to be infected. This is future. It means there is the possibility. So look, the tense is present and the sense is future here. The condition is same. You know? If he helps me, I'm sure to succeed. If you help me, I'm sure to succeed. So, going to is MR plus likely to, unlikely to, sure to, certain to, bound to. You know, these future indicators can be used in this structure. Or it is certain that, we are sure that, you know. So what do you mean by future indicators? Let us see. Going to, sure to, certain to, likely to, unlikely to, etc. You know, these are future indicators. So we've done three structures of simple present. Simple present plus simple present, one structure. Simple present plus imperative sentences, that is second structure. Simple present and future indicators, that is third structure. This is how we have to do. Is that okay? So, apart from that, there are other structures as well. So let us go to structure number 4. Other present tense and next one would be future or imperatives. Future does not mean only simple future. Future indicators, that's what I mean. Let us see with some examples. If you have completed, this is present perfect. If you have completed your tasks, future or imperatives or modal. Modal plus B1. If you have completed your tasks, you can go home. So what is it? Modal plus V1. Now future. If they are working now, I will see them. Look, if they are working now, I will see them. Look here. Here we have other present tenses, means here we have got present continuous, and here we have will plus V1. So it's not necessary that you must use only simple present. You can use other present tenses as well. And you will have either future or imperative or modal. This is modal plus V1. You know, this is modal plus V1, simple future. This is can plus V1. And let me give an example of imperative. If they have not eaten anything, if they have not eaten anything, please give them something. Please give them something to eat. Now look, they have not eaten. This is present perfect. On the one hand, we have present perfect. On the other hand, we have imperative. Please give them something to eat. So this is how also you can do. Okay. Now next sentence. Structure number 5. If can be realized by providing that in the event that as long as, so long as, etc. They are not exact but similar to if. They are not exact but similar to if. Now let us see the examples. This is always followed by simple present, provided that is always followed by simple present or present tense, provided that you lack money. It means if you lack money. Provided that you lack money, give me a call. Same as we have done. Or provided that you lack money, you can consult me. As we have done in the previous structures. Instead of provided that, you can write providing that as well. In the event that, same. But as long as and so long as shows more than condition, they show time duration. As long as or so long as is the condition with focus on time. Focus on time or activity. As long as you do not respect others, others will not respect you. As long as means till that time, till you keep that action into continuity. So it shows continuity of time or continuity of activity. As long as you neglect others, they will not regard you. They will not regard you. Generally, so long as is used with negative, but it does not mean that that must be used only with negative, but generally so long is used with a negative sentence. So long as you do not respect others, they will not respect you. They will not respect you. Let us see. So long as you do not respect others, they do not respect you. So these are the conditions, and they are similar to if. Now let us talk about another word that indicates condition, that is unless. And let us see how you can use. Number 6. Unless refers to if not, and they can be used with any structure. Let me see. You cannot say unless you do not come. You have to say unless you come. Unless you come means if you do not come. Let me make a clear concept on this. If you do not speak clearly, I cannot understand you. I cannot understand you. Now let us see. Instead of if and do not, you can use unless. Unless, when you got do not, it must be B1. If here is does not, you can add here S. Instead of unless, if there is, if he does not speak clearly, your sentence would be unless he speaks. When you got does not, you have to write speaks. When you got did not, you have to write spoke. So you have to be very much careful with this verb transformation as well. So unless you speak clearly, I cannot understand you. Look. Next one. If he does not wear the uniform, if he does not wear the uniform, he cannot enter the college. If he does not wear the uniform, he cannot enter the college. So what you can do is, if and this does not means unless. And look at the transformation. Unless he, now you cannot write wear because you have removed does not wear. When you convert it into positive, unless he wears means if he does not wear. Unless he wears the uniform, the second part is same. So this is how unless is used in the negative if sentence or in the negative conditions. This is all about unless. Now let us do another rule. Sometimes, even when the if clause is in the past perfect tense, past perfect tense means subject plus had plus B3. Sometimes even when the if clause is in the past perfect tense, the next sentence, that is principal clause, can be would, could, might, etc. plus B1. Why? To indicate the present effect. For example, if he had set out from his home, he would be here by now. You know, such sentences have been asked in the engineering entrance examinations many times. Actually, here should have been, would have been, but we write here would be. Why? Because of this. He would have been here now, or he would have been here by now. Because of this now, even if here is past perfect tense, the second answer would be, not would have been. Why? Because it shows the present effect. You know, so this rule has to be understood clearly. Now, number 8. But for plus noun, comma, the next sentence should be subject plus would, could, should, might, must, plus have plus be3. When there is but for means if it had not been. But for the rain means if it had not rained. But for means if it had not been. So this but for is negative. Let us see with examples and you will understand it clearly. But for plus noun, and next sentence would be would have plus be3, or could have plus be3, or should have plus be3, might have plus be3, or must have plus be3. How is it? Let us see. But for the rain, the crops would have died. It means if it had not rained, this is the meaning. If it had not rained, the crops would have died. Look, but for the rain, the crops would have died means if it had not rained, the crops would have died. But for my wife, my life would have been a hell. Hell means very bad. It means had it not been for my wife, or if there had not been my wife, if there had not been my wife, my life would have been a hell. It means if there had not been my wife, my life would have been a hell. So remember the sense. But for you, not only noun, there can be pronoun as well. But for you, I would not have passed the examinations. But for you, I would not have passed my examinations. It means, but for you, I would not have passed my examinations means, if you had not been there, or if you had not supported me, if you had not been there, I would not have passed my examinations. I passed my examinations because of you. So, remember the term, but for. So it shows negative connotation, negative meaning. Is that okay? Fine. Now, number 9. Number 9. Imperative plus and plus simple future. It means equivalent to if. Equivalent means similar. Equivalent to if clause. Let me show you what it means. Look at my daughter again and I will cut your head of your body, of your body. It means if you look at my daughter again, I will cut your head off your body. So look at my daughter again means if you look at, it is also equivalent to if. It means if you look at my daughter, look at my daughter again, comma, I will cut your head off your body. This is a threatening, you know. So if you use imperative plus and simple future, it is also equivalent to if clause. That is what is to be understood. Now 10. Other examples. If plus subject plus can plus P1. Next sentence is subject plus will, may, etc. plus P1. Another, if plus subject plus could plus P1. The other is subject plus would, might, etc. plus P1. Example, if I can help you, I will. I will means I will do. You can either write do or omit. If I can help you, I will do. If I can help you, I will help. If I could help you, I would do. If here is could, there should be would. If here is can, there should be will, may, etc. Sometimes even this verb is understood. If he can, he will help you. If he could meet you, he would meet. He would do. Sometimes this do is not written, you know. If he could meet you, he would do. Or, let us see the conversation. Would he meet me? Of course. If he could, of course, if he could, he would. Look, in this case, in both sentences, the verb is understood. Of course, he could means he could meet you. If he could meet you, he would meet you. You know, so the verb is understood. Verb should, you know, this may not be there. Of course, if he could means if he could meet you. He would means he would meet you. So meet you is understood. So such situation also could be asked, right? Now number 11. If plus subject plus had plus V3. It's not necessary the next side must be would have, could have, should have plus V3. There should be perfect continuous, hypothetical perfect continuous. In a simple way, you can say subject plus would, could, should, might, should, could, would, might, must, plus here can be have plus been plus before, means ing. Previously we talked about would have plus B3, could have plus B3, should have plus B3, but there can be before as well. How? Let us see. If he had not wasted his money in gambling, he would not have been begging now. He would not have been begging. If I had not made an accident, if I had not made an accident, I should not have been lying in bed. It means I made an accident because of which I had been lying in bed. So if I had not made an accident, I should not have been lying in bed. I should not have been sleeping in bed because of sickness. So here can be have been plus before as well, not only have plus B3. In our previous structures we said if plus had plus B3, and the next side would be would have plus B3, should have plus B3, might have plus B3, must have plus B3, but here would have been plus before. This is also possibility. If both answers are given, choose would have plus B3. I'll be carrying out some exercises that would clarify the concept. So if you remember these 11 structures or 11 constructions in if clause, that is more than enough to do if clause in various Public Service Commission examinations, examinations of cadet, ASI, and especially engineering entrance examinations. Right? Now objective questions. Alright, let us see these 4 different examples. If you have a lot of money, you ... rich. The options are wa, it is pronounced as wa, will be, can be. Now let us see. According to formula, if plus simple present, if one side has got if plus simple present, the next side should be subject plus can, may, will, must plus V1. Fine. So we have got 2 different answers here. One is will be, another is can be. According to formula, these 2 answers are correct. But remember the sense also now. Don't do your answers in a hurry. Think twice. If you have a lot of money, you ... be rich. That is natural. That is natural. It's not certain, this possibility and permission and others. This is natural phenomenon. So when there is something natural, as we have done, both sides can be simple present. So which one is simple present? Are. So your correct answer is, if you have a lot of money, you are rich. So both sides simple present. Why? Because this is natural. Because this is natural. Let us see. If I ... a bird, I would eat delicious fruits from different trees. Now our formula is, if we have got if plus simple past, that is subject plus V2. If plus simple past, the next side would be would plus V1, could plus V1, would, could, should, might plus V1. So which one is simple past? This is not simple past. This is present. So it can't be the answer. Am, this is also present. No. Now we have got just 2 options, was and were. Now here is what people make mistakes. This is what people make mistakes. Now, you may think I was, because that is the natural one. We generally say I was. But remember, in the if clause, you do not use was in the second condition. With he, she, it, whatever, no problem whether the subject is singular or plural. The past tense of be is always were, not was. So you cannot say if I was. That's correct in speaking, but when you write grammatically, you must say if I were. So your answer is were. Remember, the general rule says with I you have to use was, but in the if clause you cannot use that. You have to say were. That's the thing. Had it not been for my family. In the sentence, where is if? If is understood. Sometimes, even without if, you have to realize that there is if. Had it not been for my family means if it had not been for my family. Had it not been means if it had not been. Understand it this way. Had it not been for my family means if it had not been for my family. So we have the structure if plus past perfect on the one side. If plus past perfect. The next side should be would, could, should, might, must plus have plus V3. Would, could, should, might, etc. plus have plus V3. But do we have this? Would be walking? No, this is wrong. Would walk? No, this is also wrong. Will walk? There is no would. This is wrong. So would have plus V3. It's not so. We have another option. Instead of would have plus V3, we have would have been plus V3, ing. So you have to see this as the answer. If there is would have walked, that would have been correct. If this would be would have walked, you would have chosen that. You would have chosen that. But we have would have been plus before. So this is the answer. You know, I talked about this also in rule number 10, I suppose. But for the storm, I have already talked about it. But for means if it had not been. But for the storm means if there had not been a storm. But for the storm, the fruit production would have plus B3, would have increased. So these are the examples. These are some of the examples. Let us do some more examples so that it would be clear to you. Now let us say these three sentences one by one. If you beat the baby weeps, will weep, can weep. Let us see the first option. If you beat the baby weep. This is wrong because the baby is third person singular. With the third person singular, you cannot write V1, you must write V5. This is wrong. You know. Next one, according to our formula, if plus simple present on the one hand, the next side should be shall, will, may, can, must plus B1. So we have got will plus B1, we have got can plus B1. Which one to write? It's confusing. Now let's see the third one. Will weep, will weep means possibility. Can weep, possibility, all right, or ability. But let us see the weeps, the verb weeps. If you beat the baby weeps. Will that be correct? Yes. Why? Because this is natural. When you beat the baby, it's natural that the baby weeps. So your answer would be weeps, not can weep and will weep. Even if structurally it is correct, but see the sense also. It is not only the structural thing, but even the exceptions. And I have written the rule for the exception. If something is natural, both sides can be simple present. If something is natural, both sides can be simple present. So, if you beat the baby weeps. This is the answer. Next. Should you have any problem means if you have any problem. If first side is should plus subject plus verb, the next side should be imperative. You should ask me, this is not imperative. You can ask me, this is also not imperative. You would have asked me, this is also not imperative sentence. Please ask me is the imperative sentence. That's why this one is correct. It's not that you would be asked only a chunk, only a small part of the verb. You can be asked even the entire sentences. Some sentences are given. Sometimes they will give all 3 wrong sentences, 1 correct sentence. Sometimes 3 correct sentences and 1 wrong sentence. So here, let us see the question very well. Which of the following sentences is not accepted? Means is not correct. Is not correct. Were I the Prime Minister, I would develop the nation. This is entirely correct. Were I means if I were. If plus simple past, next side would plus B1. Were I the Prime Minister, here if is understood, even if it is not written here, it is understood. Were I the Prime Minister means if I were the Prime Minister. One side is simple past, next side is would plus V1. This is correct. So it's not the answer. Had I money, were I the Prime Minister, I would develop the nation. This sentence is correct. If I were you, I would study hard. Here it is also correct because if plus subject plus V2, next side would plus V1. This sentence is also correct. We have to find the incorrect one, Had I money, I would have bought a car. Remember, had I, which tense it is? This is, I is subject, had means V2. Here it is written V2 plus subject, it is all the same. Had I money means if I had money. Here also if is understood, but this is simple past. So subject plus B2 means simple past. If one side is simple past, the next side should be would plus B1. The next side should be would plus B1. But we have here would have plus B3. Here should be would plus B1, not would have bought, but would buy. The answer, this is would buy. So this is wrong. So your answer is this. You have to find the wrong sentence. This is wrong. It does not go according to the formula. Next one. Had I had money means if I had money, I would have bought a car. This is past perfect. If on the one hand here is had plus B3, the next should be would have plus B3. This is also right. So these three sentences are right, and only number C is wrong. And your work is to find out the wrong sentence along with the logic. It's not that you should just be guessing. You have to do it along with the logic, along with the structure. So these are the things. So let us do some more examples. Let us see these 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences. Drink a lot of alcoholic drinks and your liver. If there is imperative plus and, this sentence functions as an equivalent to if clause. Imperative plus and, the next sentence should be simple future. Now let us see simple future. May not function, it is not simple future. Would not be functioning, this is also not simple future. Cannot function, this is also not simple future. Will not function, this is simple future. Imperative sentence plus and, the next side should be simple future. Correct. If the train had left the station on time, we have the formula, and see the exception as well. If plus subject plus had plus B3. If plus subject plus had plus B3, the next side should be should have, would have, could have, might have, must have plus B3. Should have arrived, this also could be the answer. Would have arrived, this also could be the answer. Will arrive, it cannot be the answer. So which one is correct? Should have or could have? You may say would have or should have, but these are not the answer. Why? Because we have the rule. If there is past perfect on the one hand, even if there is past perfect on the one hand, the next sentence could be would, could, might plus B1. When it indicates present. So it would have arrived here now. This is not present. Would have arrived is past, you cannot use now. Should have arrived is also past, you cannot use. It would arrive here now or by now. We have done similar sentence before as well. Even if here is had plus B3, the next sentence could be would plus B1. Why? Because it shows present effect. If there is present effect indicated by now, you can use would plus B1. Indicated by now, you can use would plus B1. So this is the answer. Even if here is had plus B3, your answer is would arrive here now. Would have arrived here now is a wrong sentence. You cannot do that. Should have arrived also you cannot do. So this is the thing. So it is not only the sentence structure but the sense that is important. If there's some problems you would have found. If one side has got would have plus B3, the next side must be past perfect. Has, this is not past perfect. Has had, this is not past perfect. Had, this is just simple past. Had. Why had? Because we have the formula had plus B3. This is past perfect. And this one had is from the formula. This one had is from the formula, and next had is the B3 of have. Do you understand how come had? This one had is from the formula, and this next had is from tense, B3. You know, had plus B3. So your answer is past perfect. So past perfect is had, not only had. So this had is the correct answer. Now let us see the next one. If the production increases rapidly, on the one hand we have simple present. The next side should be either simple present if it is natural, or simple future, or future indicators. Would face, it is not future. Would face, it is also not future. Should face, it is also not future. Are going to face. The tense is present continuous, but the tense is future, which we call going to future. Are going to face is future. What we call it? Future indicator. So if the production increases rapidly, we are going to face problems. Are going to face. You know, so this is how you have to learn all the structures of if clause and exceptions, and there will be no problems solving the questions from any competitive examinations of Public Service Commission or ASI, inspector, as well as various medical entrance examinations and engineering entrance examinations. So that's the end. Thank you.